Alright guys, next thing I want to do to this VF750F is do the valve adjustment. Now I know these bikes were known to eat cams. I was told that this one had been upgraded and changed. Hopefully it has been. But I wanted to do the valve cover while we have the carbs off. And so the first thing I'm going to do is drain the antifreeze. So I went ahead and there's a little screw that Honda uses to hold the valve or to hold the radiator cap on. So I removed that. I removed the lower fairing with just these 4 bolts here. And we're going to drain the radiator down here and get started on getting the radiators out of the way so we can do a valve adjustment. Alright, the first thing I did was I broke this bolt loose with a 14mm, and I tell you, it was not very tight. I don't know what the torque specs are on this. I haven't looked at it yet. So we're going to drain this radiator. Don't know when this antifreeze was changed last, so we're going to do that too while we're at it. It's slippery. And that comes out of there pretty quick. I didn't realize till I started taking this out that this is just a little plastic drain plug. Alright, so I'm going to let this drain, and we'll be back in a second. Alright guys, I hope you can see okay. It's kind of dark over here. My flashlight, my light is going dead. I removed both radiator hoses. This top part here has a little plastic bracket, which is right there. That goes on. You have 2 screws to take out on the front part of the radiator. And it pops that little cover off. Be very careful on this hose. Mine was stuck on there pretty good. I had to just work it a little at a time. I put a screwdriver in there and kind of pulled out a little bit and sprayed some WD-40 in there so it would coat the inside of the hose to break it loose, because this thing is pretty flimsy. So hopefully there's no damage to the radiator there. So now we got that out of the way. We're going to take this front radiator off. Okay, now, like I said, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark. I took the two 10mm bolts out that hold the radiator in at the top. Disconnected those. Disconnected the 2 fan motors right there. Don't forget to plug those back in. And now we're going to remove this radiator and the fans. So let's see here. Don't know if you can see anything here, unfortunately. See if we can get the radiator to drain. So we're moving it all the way out. Okay, let's see what, I guess it'd be better to go the other direction with it. Alright, so now we have plenty of room to get to the valve cover here in the front, valve cover in the rear. And so we're going to take these bolts out, move these coils out of the way, this other hose out of the way here. We're going to take these 4 bolts out here that hold the valve cover on, and do that on the front and on the back cylinders. So let's do that next. Oh, and also we have to take this side cover off here so we can see the timing marks. Alright, so loosened all these bolts up, kind of smacked it a little bit with the back of some channel locks, and I forgot that there might be oil in here, and it just poured out. Alright, so now that we got the cover off, hopefully you can see the timing marks here. So we're going to Get ready to take the valve covers off next. Should be 4 Allens in those. So let's get those off. Alright guys, so I pulled the valve covers off. This is 1 and 3 back here. Everything looks really good inside. Somebody used a little bit of gasket sealer around the gasket. Don't know if I'll do that or not. Don't want it to leak, but here's the problem. See that right there? That clump getting ready to, you don't want that to make its way inside the motor. That's why I don't like to use it. Don't want to plug off any oil lines or anything. So, alright, the front one, 2 and 4 look good too. So we're going to look at how to, I'm going to refer to the book. I definitely recommend you getting the manual because there might be things that I miss. Okay, I checked the number 1 valve. It should be 0.005 of an inch or 0.12 millimeters, and I can't get my feeler gauge under either one of them at that mark. I can go down and get a 0.10 under it. So we're going to loosen these up, and you have to do it 2 gauges at a time, both of them under the same rocker arm, and measure it that way. And if it needs to be adjusted, you do it that way with both of them at the same time. Alright guys, so here's both the feeler gauges under it. I've adjusted that one, or both of these, and then torqued these nuts down to 15 foot-pounds. So that one feels good, so we're going to go to the exhaust valve now and do the same thing. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but we rotated the motor around to the T4, I'm sorry, the T2.4 mark, and so now we're going to adjust the valves on cylinder 4, which is the front right. Okay, on cylinder 4, the exhaust 2 were right on. The intake's a little tight, so we're going to loosen those up. Alright guys, so put the valve covers back on. Number 3 was out of adjustment also, so got all of them back into adjustment. And so I'm putting the spark plugs back in and going to do everything in reverse order. Make sure you have your up on your valve covers and down on your front valve cover. Put your plugs back in, and I'll do everything.